Hey everybody, welcome to A Moment in Time, a closer look at local history. My name is Ben Barber, and this is the show. Um, and we're going to take a look with different guests and different people, but mainly my good friend who I just love talking about history with. And today we have a really interesting subject. But first, I'm going to bring her on, Jacqueline Smith. Hey,
Hi, fancy seeing you here.
I know, right? Um, so today we are to. I didn't get any lower thirds ready or anything. Like I'm so bad at this. Um, all right. Oh, okay, and I can't do it because I have too many folders. 1 second. I'm doing too many
Totally
shows.
fine. So
Um,
you forced
vamp,
me,
vamp.
you forced me to come back here and talk about the Battle of Stonington Borough. I reluctantly said yes.
Yes.
Actually, Stonington Borough, but that's
Oh, is
okay.
it? Well, all right.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care. So it's the Battle of Stonington Borough, and this happened in 1814. Um, and a lot of people will skip over the War of 1812. Like, we know that it existed, but it's not as like sexy as the Revolutionary War
That's the word I would
and the
absolutely
Civil
use.
War. Yeah, it's not as sexy as the Revolutionary War or um, the Civil War. It's not as monumental, right? People know about the burning of the White House. If they know anything about the War of 1812, they know about the burning of the White House and Dolly Madison saving the George Washington painting. If they know anything, maybe they know stuff about, and I'm actually guessing here, the Star Spangled Banner, right, was written during the War of 1812.
Hmm.
Other than that, I couldn't name a single thing about it
Well,
until last week.
yeah, now you know everything about it. You are so lucky. Um, So I think it's really interesting that it was really just like it was a trade disagreement. I mean, finances were already suffering from the revolution, and then you know other wars that they were already suffering from before the revolution. So they decided to do some extra trade things on the United States, and we do not like tariffs,
No, we
and
don't.
it's an area of contention. So of course they were going to react and not follow what the English wanted them to. So they started a war. That's all trade things should not end up in.
Absolutely. So tell us about some of the main characters here in the story of the Battle of Stonington Borough.
Okay, so picture it. It's a beautiful August 9th day in 1814, and we're in Fisher's Sound. Um, and three ships roll in, and two frigates and one brig. We had to Google what a frigate and a brig was. It's just a warship. Um, and the head of that was Tom Hardy. So like that's not the picture I sent, Ben. That was so
Oh,
okay. How about okay, Captain Tom Hardy? How about that?
hold on, let me try.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the guy.
Okay,
So he looks kind of
sorry.
nice, but he's super not. So he comes ashore, plants his flag, declares Stonington his, and then sends like a really short note, and it's really not that nice. Would you like to put
Um,
it up for me?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure it looked like this. I love the at Stonington Magistrate part. It's like the best part. Gentlemen, so it really said this. Gentlemen, 1 hour is allowed you from the receipt of this tweet for the removal of unoffending inhabitants. 1 hour.
Right.
So the magistrates are like, nope. Like I don't think we could get everyone out in time. So they tried to evacuate their wives and children to the best of their ability, but they already claimed it. So if they just left, English, the English expected that would be likely what would happen. Hi, Brayden. Um, but instead they were like, nope, I don't think so. So they chatted amongst themselves in the next hour and they decided, so they didn't respond whatsoever. And about 15 to 20 men decided that they were going to fight. They had just their guns and their own ammunition, as well as two 18-pound cannons, which are like 18-pound balls. So they're, not big. One person can operate them. So after the hour was up and they decided that they weren't going to leave, the English were like, okay, that's fine. And then another 2 hours passed, and then 56-pound cannons started raining down on Stonington. And like the streets were on fire. Only two people got minorly injured after hours worth of like shooting at them. But if you can imagine 56 pounders, they're just like smoldering. So basically, the trees and everything was on fire. They only got one house at this point, but they were like devastated and they just didn't have the resources, but they just kept fighting and they weren't giving up. So the next day, Tom Hardy, I mean Captain Tom Hardy, decided to decide. I like it better with Tom Hardy. Can we get him to like play this in the live movie?
Yes. There we
So
go. So Tom Hardy.
he did a temporary truce and was like, if you give me um us Mrs. James Stewart, who was who was like a prisoner of war, but she was well treated, so it really wasn't that bad.
Can I,
Um,
can I just say?
Jim
Can I just say?
Stewart's wife.
Our first comment on this. Our first. Well, Caswell says, "Hey, Jay Quellen," but Tony, when is Westerly opening up stores and bars? Dude, I have no idea. We're talking about the Battle of Stonington in 1814. I have no idea when Westerly's opening up stores and bars, bud. Check out a different show for that. We have plenty of them.
But
You
I love
know,
it though.
and honestly, before we continue with the story, Tony, I love you, man. I don't know who you are, but I love you. Tomorrow on the virtual business, the virtual town hall with the lieutenant governor at noon, Caswell will be on representing Westerly, and you can ask all of those questions then. Um,
Why
okay,
isn't Caswell just replying right now?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're on different things. Who cares? We're talking about a moment in time, and that moment in time right now is August 9th, 1814 in Stonington Borough.
Yeah, we're
So,
actually at like August 10th right now. That's cool.
okay. So we're talking about we were talking about James Stewart, I believe. Is that correct?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So,
The husband
um
of a prisoner of war. Oh,
yes. So James
okay.
Stewart, the
Yeah.
British
Esquire.
spy.
Yes, and lawyer. Um,
Yes.
James Stewart. What? So anyway, they were like, they had no control in Stonington, nor did they have control in Connecticut over Washington and having this person there. In the meantime, they go to New London and they start negotiations. So Stonington sends them a letter and it's like, so, dude, like, we can't do anything about this. You need to, like, just, I'm sure you're in good hands in New London. Whatever you decide, leave us alone. Instead, they get another letter that says, or you could have Mrs. Stewart on my ship by noon, and if not, by 3 o'clock. They basically were like, by noon they weren't there, and by three, they just start showering 56-pound cannonballs. But this time, they actually have more people that finally showed up. So they cut their army in half and had 50 people running around
Oh,
putting out
that's
all the
good.
fires.
Finally.
Yes, finally they roll in. But I mean, they held them off for a whole day, which is so amazing. And like this continues, and it's just so catty. It's like a Twitter feud. They're like, okay, how about no? And then like at one point they don't even respond. Like Stonington's like, you're stupid, we have enough people here. So by day 5, we have our good boy Tom Hardy roll up on shore, and he's basically like, you guys are gonna let like us in, and they came so close that this was like the most damage they ever did. This is like day 5. So that we actually, by the end of it, we, of course there's a lot of details that I probably forgot, but by the end of it we had absolutely no casualties. We had 40 houses that got damaged, but with all the people running around putting out the fires, we only lost 2 houses. And so we had 8 people get minorly injured. And then on the other side, they lost 2 men, 12 injuries, and one of their brigs, which is cost thousands and thousands of dollars of damage to them. And they just look stupid. So finally, by like Saturday the 15th, they're like, apparently, we're not going to burn and pillage Stonington. Without those 15 to 20 men, we that like the devastation would have been horrible. The best part is that on the 9th, when they went to press with the story that Tom Hardy
That's
planted his flag, um, they put this whole story. Okay, by the way, there was like 160 cannons and 3,000 men against 2 cannons and 20 people. So I mean, it's ridiculous.
and 20 guys.
Yes, and
It's
because
insane. It's a wonderful story
of like the fact
for
that there were
Stonington. I mean,
3,000. Yeah, because of the fact that there were 3,000 men and 160 cannons on August 9th. The newspapers put the story out that said, oh, we are sorry to report that, England claimed Stonington, but, and, surely the devastation of property will be devastating. And yet they had to recant the story the next day. And then now, like, even 3 years later, they got a visit from the president, and the fanfare, like, of celebrating the Battle of Stonington Borough, which is one of the most amazing ones to me because it's like such a David and Goliath story. And the person who's so arrogant turns out like he just like runs away 5 days later, like with his tail between his legs after
yeah.
having all these like really awful tweets, no, letters, where he's just such a jerk. He's like, one of his letters is like, or if you don't give me, the wife again, I shall proceed to destroy Stonington effectually, for which purpose I possess ample means. Like,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
trying
I
to
can
avoid calling him names
if I
right now.
want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't
Um
know. It's cool to be from Connecticut/Rhode Island with stories like these.
it is. And I didn't know anything about this. The reason that this even came up was I was producing a food for thought for Christ Church, of which you are the administrator of the parish, and Father Sunil was talking to the police chief in Stonington, and he turned to have the flag from the Battle of Stonington in his office, and he mentioned that, and you sent me a text and started telling me about how cool the Battle of Stonington was, and I was like, cool, I want to know all about it, and then you told me all about it, and that's sort of the basis of this show, is something somebody will say something cool about history, and then I'll ask you one question about it, and we get into a very long conversation. So and I love the tweets, like, I would not look at a correspondence like that and think that it was like a mean tweet. But it's hilarious. Like, I just wouldn't, because I don't think that. But the way that uh, you know, you talked last time we talked about the deforestation of New England and the reforestation of New England, and you talked about the lady. I can't think of her name, Mrs.
I can't believe you forgot this.
Mrs. What's her name?
I can't
Help me
believe I
out.
forgot this too. See,
Yes.
see, Eddie.
Yes. Yes.
But you got the Mrs. part right.
Yes, Mrs. Eddy. Mrs. C S E Eddy. She you were like she's like a YouTuber, like going out and going like, "Hey everybody, this is how you pick up your
It was
acorns."
just the tone. I think I mean, so I got the
Completely. I love
newspapers.
the context of the tone of history,
Yes.
and it's very nice. So we're going to while we keep doing this show, we're gonna keep making tweets of famous things and making YouTube little fake YouTube videos and all
So,
of this stuff.
let's just clarify something. Did I thought I was gonna get interviewed on the
You are
social
getting interviewed.
distancing
You are getting interviewed.
show
Yeah,
right now,
yeah,
but it
yeah,
turns
yeah.
out it's my own show. It's just
No, I
now it's
didn't.
okay.
I didn't say that. I
I
didn't
think
say
it would
that.
be cool if you had someone just like talk about one one part of history, just like a short tidbit. Like last time when I was talking history, I had to do 400 years.
You
It's
did,
it's
yeah.
not like I wasn't there the whole time for all those 400 years.
You are a witch. That is very well documented. But yeah. So what's cool though is that like throughout the course of us talking about the Battle of Stonington for the last 2 weeks, um, I didn't even realize, and I congratulated her on the job, but I didn't realize that one of my friends from high school and that I have done theater with for a long time is the librarian for the Stonington Historical Society.
That's
And
so cool. I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah,
I could
I
have had
didn't
someone to
know
talk
that either.
to about it.
Exactly,
It's not
and
like
I
I don't
should have.
love my newspaper subscription now with all my 17, 1800 newspapers. My life will never be the
Um,
same.
what is it about history that um is so like endearing for you?
I don't know. There's so many different elements that are so satisfying to me. I mean, just knowing everyone's story start to finish. You start looking at your own life as like one cohesive thing and stop isolating specific times in your life as, like I failed, and you get to it just puts stuff in context. And the other thing is that it's a mystery and you have to pay close attention and make sure that you're at the most original place for the information and kind of have to like pull people's context out. Like I don't know if people are going to be telling this story in 100 years and they're going to be like, and then they tweeted at each other and they had Twitter views. So, well, we shall see. I like how
I'm
I'm
sure
going to
that they will.
single-handedly ruin history. I don't even need a time machine for that, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, we did have a debate about time machines. So uh that's awesome. What do you want to talk about next?
I thought you
Not
were going to
today,
come.
not today, like
Right,
because
right,
I
right,
know that
right.
you want to research it.
Oh
Um
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Um, I don't
Uh
know.
you
It
talked about the Battle of Rhode Island.
Yes, like I definitely want to talk about that one. That's another epic story. Actually, most of the history that I'm running into, although maybe it has some context that is hard to deal with. Um, but we like in southern New England have the most brazen people. I mean, what about Gatsby, which is really considered the start of the American Revolution,
I
and
have no
not
idea what we're talking about.
the burning of the Gatsby? Oh no, Ben. Oh,
I don't know. Can you tell
Um,
me about it?
I can.
Okay.
And then there's definitely the oldest synagogue is in Newport, which is has a lot of interesting stories around it. We have, um, I mean, we have like, well, the Gatsby. First of all, best comment about it is that everyone knew in Rhode Island who burned the Gatsby, but when they went to trial, every single person in Rhode Island who was asked said they didn't know, and they knew. So the guy was never found guilty. So they did that whole thing where they communicate, they were a community, they came together to protect one of their own. So like stories like that are so hard to like pass up.
Are these things that we learned about in school and I just wasn't paying attention?
No, because we just talked about George Washington, which is fine. I don't dislike George Washington. I just think that when we're spending so much time talking about the same founding fathers over and over again, we're missing out on the fact that most of the stuff that made our them so successful is just someone like you or me. But oh, is it going to be a picture of George Washington?
No,
Did I did
just
I but I don't hate George Washington.
so the burning of the Gatsby, like
No,
as
Gaspee.
okay, so not like the
So no
Great
one,
Gatsby.
no,
Okay,
it's a ship in
okay.
out in
I
Warwick.
understand that it has nothing to do with the novel. I just was
How do you
asking if it
know?
was the same words. Okay, you're right. I don't know.
Okay.
Thanks for
Well,
calling me
I
out
mean,
on that.
there's so many different things, but I mean, well, one
Um,
fun thing about Connecticut that we can mention since we had the Stonington battle story. So when they actually asked at one point if they could go and like plant their own flag, but Connecticut didn't have a flag in 1814. It's one of the last states to get one in 1897, and it was designed by the DAR chapter out of Stonington, which is really cool thing for Stonington people. It was designed by the Anna Warner Bailey chapter in Stonington. So if anyone has family members that were from that chapter, they realized there was no Connecticut flag, and at their meetings, which went everywhere from Westerly to Groton to Mystic to Stonington to Noank, they just went to different ladies' houses over a year and a smidgen designed for the Connecticut flag. So we kind of did that, including Miss Julia Smith was one of the founding members, and she is connected to the Westerly Museum of Babcock Smith House.
oh,
So someone in Westerly was helping design that Connecticut flag. So
this is all really fascinating stuff, and I honestly like. I think it's fascinating. I did not pay it. You're right. Like, there's no way I would have learned that in school, and
well, they can't teach you something if it's outside of a curriculum. They need
yeah,
to be able to have a be in compliance with standardized tests, and I'm not upset about that. I'm
no.
upset about it.
We all just need a friend that like will in their spare time, go to the state archives and sit on concrete floors for 3 hours at a time, going through random archives. So everybody doesn't have one of those friends, and I do.
I
So
don't know.
I'm
Yeah, like, does that sound sad? You're like, that's so sad. And I'm like, yeah,
no.
well,
I said it sounded nice, but you just said that you would stay until you shivered, which sounded sad. But in general, no, I don't think it sounds sad.
not
I
so
think it's
bad in the
nice.
summer.
So 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 we want to share some of the local history, and get, I didn't know that I had other friends that were involved in historical societies and stuff. That's really awesome. And yeah, so we'll bring on guests and have people to talk to, and all sorts of stuff. I don't know what the show's going to look like. I just thought that it was fun to do it.
But like,
um
I feel like everyone in Westerly has a show now. Is
they
that
should. If they don't, they should call me, and I'll give them a show. I can wait, hold on. I can do
Westerly
something.
is definitely constantly getting on the map. I mean, I think
We
it's
got something here. We got. I can put this up, I guess. Caswell made me make this earlier. Yeah, share your message. Live stream your broadcast to over a dozen locations simultaneously: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Vimeo, and your website. The quickest, easiest, most inexpensive way to advertise your business immediately. Would you like your own show? Call Caswell 401-932-3519. Yes, he's the only person that I know that looks more ridiculous than I do right now, so I appreciate it, Kaz.
To get
Um,
over it.
who should get over it?
You.
All right. Well, we're going to end this the way that I wish that we could end every episode, and that is with a song. But not all battles are so epic that they have their own songs. Um, but Connecticut does, and the Battle of Stonington. This is by Tom Callanan, and I'm going to share it with you all right now. Um,
It's so good.
should we say we're going to stay on screen for this, Jacqueline? Um,
I yeah, I can't wait to see this again.
all right. Are you ready? And this is by the way, courtesy of the day. Check out the is it's the New London Day, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Check out the New London Day, and this is an amazing, amazing video. And yeah, check them out because they have some great like local tour videos and stuff of the Battle of Stonington, um, the area of the Battle of Stonington. So that's all great. But this is an amazing song. It's a poem that was written in the 1800s about this, and this is a rendition by this amazing gentleman. Um, so here we go. We hope you like it. Thank you very much. This has been a moment in time.
Battle of
For
Stonington.
Jake Wellen,
Four
I'm Ben.
gallant ships from England came, freighted deep with fire and flame, and other things we need not name, to have a dash at Stonington. Now safely moored, the work begun, they thought to make those Yankees run, and have a mighty deal of fun in stealing sheep from Stonington. The Yankees too their fort repaired, and made as though they little cared for all that came, though very hard the cannon played on Stonington. For the bombardiers with bomb and ball soon made a farmer's hayrick fall, and did a cow house sadly maul that stood a mile from Stonington. They killed a goose, they killed a hen, 3 hogs they wounded in a pen. They dashed away, and pray what then? This was not taking Stonington. For the bombs were thrown, the rockets flew, but not a shell of all they threw. Though every house was in full view, could burn a house in Stonington. To have their say, they thought but fair, so the Yankees brought 2 guns to bear. And sir, it would have made you stare to see that smoke at Stonington. For they bored 1 ship clear through and through, and killed or wounded of her crew so many that she bade adieu to the gallant boys of Stonington. The British ships gave up the fray, and with their comrades they sneaked away. Such was the valor of that day of British tars at Stonington. But some assert on certain grounds, besides the damage and the wounds, it cost the king 10,000 pounds to have a dash at Stonington. They say it cost the king 10,000 pounds to have a dash at Stonington.
that guy's incredible.
Yeah, here.
I mean, for real. No, we can't cheers with water.
Well, it's not cheers if you don't say cheers, right?
It's still a toast, I think. Um, so
Celebrate.
that guy's amazing, and I want to be his friend. You sent me a private chat on the side that said he's so charming when that song started. He really is. I love that guy. I want to meet him. He can be a guest on the show and tell us all about the Battle of Stonington and whatever else he knows about, because he seems like he knows a lot. and he could just play us music at any point. So thank you so much, Jacqueline,
No problem.
and we'll see you back here next week for a moment in time.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Your
bring a friend
reluctant
on,
show.
and yeah, my reluctant show. I have a couple of history friends too.
Please bring them on. I would love to talk about history with more people. So, all right, I will let you go.
All right, bye,
And
Benjamin.
bye, Jake Wallen. So that is it. I hope you liked it. After this episode, we have a half-hour break, and then Caswell Tonight is on with with Gary Puckett from Gary Puckett and the Union Gap, and that is amazing. I talked to him earlier today. He still sounds exactly as he always has, and super super nice guy. So I can't wait to get on the air with that and Caswell Tonight. So thank you guys very very much. And I know that she was kidding that every single person in Westerly has their own show, but they can. They could. You could have your own show. Send me a message. Um, Send a message to Westerly Live or Shane Belanger or Caswell Cook or DeAngelis and Barber. And yeah, we'll make it happen. So thank you guys very much, and we'll see you next week for more of A Moment in Time.